any planning permission. To make it even worse, they'd not even built it to the proper standards. It was found that the pool would not have been granted permission due to the issues on the site. So they were detained on suspicion of causing fatality via negligence. They were placed on house arrest and now await trial in Israel. In 2021, a 52-year-old woman named Jackie was a popular bartender that pulled pints in almost every pub in Blackburn, UK. Her bubbly personality made her a proper character in her town. She had the most beautiful sense of humour and was all around a loving, nice person. She had 2 daughters, and in early January, her nephew Josh had been living with her. In the early hours of Sunday, January the 24th, Josh had gone downstairs feeling a bit peckish. Jackie made him a late-night bacon sandwich and he wolfed it down. Josh then returned to his bed where he drifted off to sleep. That following day, Josh woke up at around 1 PM and left his room around 2. He trudged down the stairs and entered the kitchen, where he was met with an absolute nightmare. Jackie was suspended from the oven by her pajamas. Her top was tightly wrapped around her neck and was suspended in the oven door. But just by looking at her, it was clear that she had died. A full post-mortem was conducted and it was found that there was no sign of disease, natural death, and the official cause of her death was the compression of her neck caused by her pajama top being stuck in the oven door. The coroner said, and I quote, "It is very unusual that someone who was fit and well managed to suspend themselves accidentally from the oven door. What appears to have happened here is that for some reason she's fallen and caught her pajama top on the lower handle of the door. They couldn't explain how she ended up in that position. It was an extremely unusual case, and in 20 years of them doing it, they've never come across anything like it." Now this death is just bizarre. This is a true story, but there's no diagram or photo of her kitchen, so I'm having a hard time picturing it in my head. I'm guessing the oven was chest height and she wasn't very tall, but I am puzzled. So do let me know in the comments below how you think this happened. In 2007, Ian lived alone in his home in Teesside. Ian was a member of the Outbreak Baptist Church and had been for 26 years. He was an extremely skilled organist, always playing the right song for the right occasion. Despite not being professionally taught, he just had an ear for it. He was described as a friendly, kind man, always ready to give a helping hand. On January 26, 2007, multiple 999 calls were received stating that a loud vacuum cleaner had been running for many hours and that it was making a very loud racket. But as it was not on sociable hours, they couldn't do anything. As the night was drawing to a close, a friend that couldn't get in contact with him visited his home to check. His friend arrived at the property to find the door unlocked. They entered and they followed the sound of the vacuum cleaner. They went up the stairs to find a bizarre scene. The vacuum cleaner was attached to a large transparent plastic bag where all the air was sucked out with brown duct tape inside. Inside the bag was Ian, naked in the fetal position. He had his shins tied with brown duct tape, but his wrists were bound by a silver chain. Tragically, he vacuum packed himself. Police were called and they arrived at 10:40 PM where they swiftly turned off the vacuum cleaner and declared Ian dead. His cause of death was suffocation. Investigators found no drugs or alcohol in the system and concluded that they couldn't see how anyone forced him. The official statement said Ian unpacked himself, tied his hands to his feet, and then set to go, knowing there was no way to stop it. There were no signs to show that he had intended to end his life. But of course, we can't be sure. Police believe that this was a bizarre sex act gone wrong, and they said that no suspicious circumstances were found. But I'm really not sure how he managed to found in the bag with his hands and legs tied, and then managed to turn on the vacuum cleaner. This one just doesn't sit right with me. On Saturday, February 9th, 2019, a 51-year-old disabled woman by the name of Vanessa decided she would visit her local park with her dog. In Hull, she was minding her own business when Alan, a random decided to attack her. It came sweeping down at such speed that It caused Vanessa to lurch backwards. This motion caused an immense ripple in her chest, and she instantly knew that something was terribly wrong. She rushed back to her car and quickly drove away. When she arrived, she dialed for an ambulance. The ambulance arrived, and Vanessa complied with it. Similar to heart attack victims, they provided her immediate pain relief, but when she arrived at A&E, it seems that not all of the information was passed over to A&E. She was prescribed morphine and left on her own for what seemed like forever, with extreme amounts of pain. At 1:35 a.m., 2 hours later, a junior doctor carried out an ECG and marked it abnormal. Vanessa questioned this and was told that there was something wrong with her heart. But bizarrely, even after this discovery, Vanessa was still discharged that same night with a non-life-threatening chest muscular injury. She returned home and managed to get to sleep. But when she woke up, the pain was only got worse. She made it to the room and then she ran out of pain. She phoned her mother and asked if she could bring some more, and they could tell in her voice that this was serious. Vanessa's mother and father, along with their brother, set off to her home. But by the time they got there, they walked into absolute tragedy. They found Vanessa on bed, lifeless. They started CPR and an ambulance arrived in just 3 minutes, but when they arrived, it was obvious that nothing could be done. The coroner found that Vanessa died of an aneurysm, rupture/dissection. She had no previous heart issues, and it was concluded that the tear was most likely caused by the encounter with a goose. The hospital, of course, denied any culpability for Vanessa's death, but this story is tragic, and it goes to show that even a goose can lead to your death. Now this death is more lack of thought than bizarre. In 2019, a 24-year-old man named Zafir had been sentenced to community service after he was convicted of causing wounding in Turkey. He was attending the community service, but he decided that it really wasn't for him, so he and his 2 friends plotted a way that they could get out of it. They thought that if he was in hospital, then he wouldn't be able to attend. So they looked around for ways to hospitalize him, and they settled on the most ridiculous ways. They decided they would shoot Zafir in the back with 2 pillows strapped with a shotgun at close range. It's a well-known fact that shotguns are designed at close range due to the spread of the ink pellets inside the casings. They can penetrate tissue, organs, and even straight through bone. So without a thought, Zafir's 2 friends began strapping the pillows to the back and filling them. They built it together. After the shot, they sprang out to see if he was okay. But of course, he was bleeding profusely and dead. They rushed him to a nearby hospital, but he was declared dead on arrival. The hospital staff phoned the police, and they shortly arrived and detained both of his friends. The 2 men explained to the police that they were convinced that the 2 pillows would stop the shotgun shell from fatally injuring him. A statement that is so bizarre, it makes it borderline unbelievable. 1 man was eventually released, while the 18-year-old man who pulled the trigger was sentenced, but I was unable to find out how long it was. In 1980, a 17-year-old woman named Monica was the mayor of Bettison, Maryland, and on the 20th of March 1980, Monica went down to the Bettison sewage treatment plant to clean one of the edges of the vat. Apparently, this was something that she did often, as she didn't have much to do. She'd often go down there to test chlorine and sediment. She crept down into the treatment plant and walked across the metal walkway, suspended above multiple vats of raw sewage. Now it's unsure what exactly happened because she was completely alone, but it seems that Monica lost her footing walking along one of the catwalks. She slipped and fell 4 feet straight into one of the tanks. It was described as putty, quicksand, and being 15 meters in depth, or around 50 feet. She must have screamed for help, but as she was the only one in there, it was a truly hopeless situation. The following morning, a town engineer entered the scene to carry out his work. He started a shift and eventually came across the critical scene. Monica was laid face down in the sewage. She had drowned. She was brought out of the tanks and laid to rest, and it was reported that all the safety precautions were added following her untimely death. On the 10th of May 2017, an 89-year-old man named Robert was actually celebrating his 89th birthday. He had just been to go and celebrate with his family and was driving to his home in Florida in his 2016 Mercedes. Apart from being his birthday, it was like any other day. He was driving along with the palm trees passing by his side when suddenly, for an unknown reason, he verged to the left of the road and hit a water hydrant. The impact of the crash was quite severe. The hydrant he'd hit was gushing water at an immense rate. It was even hitting the palm trees on the other side of the road. But Robert had no injuries from the crash. With the hydrant still gushing, Robert swung open his car door and stepped onto the wet ground to inspect the damage to his car. This is when his day took a turn that nobody could have predicted. The water had actually loosened the ground around him and made a makeshift sinkhole right underneath his feet. The suction from the water sucked him straight underground and into a hole that had formed underneath his car. A passerby saw what was going on and rushed over to try and assist him, but the water was so incredibly strong, it was impossible to pull him out. Emergency services were called, and Robert spent 4 minutes under the water before the pressure was released and he was dragged out. But when they got him out, he had drowned. Medical staff and investigators ruled this as a rare sequence of events. Hundreds, if not thousands of people hit fire hydrants, and most are not fatal. But it seems Robert got bizarrely unlucky on his birthday, and it really makes you think that when your time comes, there's no avoiding it. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for checking out this video. I hope that you were able to take something away from hearing these truly tragic and bizarre deaths, whether that be to hold your loved ones close, or to remember the fact that life is sensitive and you must make the most of it. But whatever you take from this video, let me know what you thought in the comments below. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Yeah.